40 top reasons to get on a bike, for life. Learning to ride a bicycle is worthwhile for everyone. It's as simple as, well, like riding a bicycle. And most importantly, once you learn to ride, you'll never learn how to ride again. Almost all of us learned to ride as children. Many probably have memories of their first bike in a series of carefree childhood days, long summer games with friends, walks with parents in the park, trips to school. Some continue to ride all their lives, and even their advanced years are no hindrance. Others give up biking as soon as they get behind the wheel of a car. But I'll tell you this. Don't ever stop riding your bike. I mean it. Everyone has their own reasons for stopping, not stopping, or even starting, but there are actually quite a few reasons for everyone to settle up on their bikes and get used to riding every day. Some of them are obvious, others not so obvious. If you want to save money, intend to eventually lose weight, or even intend to make the world around you a little better, the 40 reasons you're about to read will explain to you why you should have a metal tube between your legs and pedals underneath on this bright path. The reasons are: 1. It is very, very good for your heart. Let's start with the most obvious. You don't have to race mountain bike rallies in bad weather or work up 7 sweats in training to feel the benefits of cycling. Just cranking 33 kilometers a week is enough to reduce your risk of coronary artery disease by 50%. Imagine, even such a non-sporty, overweight person in her mid-4th decade, as the author of these lines 4 years ago, managed to overcome this distance in a little over 2 hours. 2. It will strengthen your immune system. Cycling provides normal exercise, which gives your body the strength to cope with colds and seasonal infections faster than if you stay home. From an evolutionary standpoint, we are adapted to constant physical activity. On the scale of human history, the transition to a sedentary lifestyle happened literally yesterday. After all, we had a butt before we thought of putting a chair under it. So sitting in a chair is unnatural for us. The healthier a person is, the more he moves. 3. The bicycle is an economical means of transportation. It's a great way to spend your money on something more important. There's no need to spend money on transportation or gasoline when you can ride your bicycle to work. Among other things, it eliminates the need to listen to stupid radio programs with long-winded news clips that never make you finish listening to your favorite song. 4. The car will last longer. I'm not kidding. For short trips, it's better to take a bicycle. The more often you ride it, the less strain on the car. Frequent short rides result in a shorter engine life. Turning the engine on and off frequently causes the engine oil to not get hot enough and doesn't lubricate the moving parts well, so they wear out faster. 5. Keep your car looking marketable. The less you drive your car, the less chance of beating or scratching it, so keep it nice and clean for a long time. And when you think of selling it, a little mileage will increase its value. Makes sense, if you think about it. 6. The best way to make money on a car is to sell it. I understand that the idea of swapping a car for a bicycle sounds ridiculous, but maybe you should consider whether you need the car that much, especially if you don't use it very often or only ride it to work. And you can also save on car insurance, tax, maintenance and repairs. By the way, for that matter, it's much cheaper to maintain a bicycle than a car. 7. Sell one car. What, again about the car? Exactly. A lot of families these days are getting multiple cars. Do you really need both? It wasn't so long ago that having 2 cars was considered a rich man's fad. Okay, enough about them. This next tip is sure to excite you. 8. Cyclists have a longer duration of sex. Yeah, baby. A bicycle helps with sex. Not that way. You don't have to take it to bed. Riding makes you more stamina, more flexible, and generally improves your tone, so you can safely suggest that someone spend the night in the same bed, meaning all night. 9. Cyclists have better sex. The stronger you are, the greater the sensation of orgasm. The release of hormones at the end, not that. But, well, that too. of intercourse is more intense in a trained body than in a flaccid and fattened one. 10. Sexuality lasts longer. Men who are in good physical shape look 5 years younger than their flabby peers. Don't you want to be a seductive, handsome athlete? 11. Bicycling supports potency. Don't believe those fairy tales about biking being bad for male potency. Scientists have found that men over 50 who pedal regularly reduce their risk of impotence by 30%. 12. Increases vitamin D levels. If you spend a lot of time in the saddle, and it's not the saddle of an exercise bike, I have good news for you. Exposure to sunlight directly affects vitamin D levels. This especially becomes a problem on long winter evenings, when everyone would rather lie in front of a screen with a glass of something hot than drive in the dark on their way back from a walk. But lack of sunshine is bad for your mood, and what's worse, it has been found that a lack of vitamin D increases the risk of heart disease, cancer and damage at a genetic level. So put on a decent sunscreen and march to the saddle. 13. Eternal life. Well, not exactly forever, but it can be seriously prolonged and your chances of getting cancer reduced. Regular physical activity had a positive effect on longevity in all 3 groups we studied: normal weight, overweight and obese people, said Stephen Moore, lead researcher on the large-scale project to study the effects of physical activity. So even if you're not in the best shape or overweight right now, you can expect to live longer if you just get on a bike. 14. Benefits to your country. As the world's population grows, so does the strain on each individual country's infrastructure. It costs billions of dollars annually to continually repair existing roads and build new ones. If everyone with the ability to do so switched from a car to a bicycle, they wouldn't have to build a new road to relieve traffic. 15. The opportunity to see more on trips around the world. Going on vacation, you can get from one place to another quickly by car or plane. But isn't the point of travel to see the world? For example, the author of this article visited 25 countries last year, including the Netherlands, Scotland, Switzerland, Mexico and the United States. But all I got to see were airport lounges and views on my way to city attractions. I did not get to admire the views of Appalachia and the Alps or the mountain and island scenery of Scotland. Well, what can be seen when you drive at a speed of 80 to 90 kilometers per hour? All the most interesting things instantly disappeared from view. Traveling by bicycle allows you to see everything and gives more impressions. That said, you don't have to ride 150 kilometers a day. My best cycling trip was a vacation on the coast of Spain. We didn't ride more than 30 to 50 kilometers a day, but we saw so much and visited places we would hardly have gotten to by car. We went places where there were no roads. It was wonderful. 16. You can look classy. Riding up for coffee on a beach bike. You don't have to pedal at breakneck speed all the time. 17. A buzz without harmful consequences. Runner's euphoria is a well-known phenomenon that is now much talked about. Despite the name, it can be felt not only by runners. All you have to do is be more or less trained and run for a while. Once you've tried it, you'll probably want to do it again, and then again and again. Runner's euphoria is hard to describe in comprehensible terms to someone who has never experienced it. But in fact, we seem to be programmed to feel it at a genetic level. When you ride, at a certain point your brain starts releasing different pleasure substances into your bloodstream, and you feel like you can move mountains. There is some evidence that this mechanism works as a natural painkiller to help you not feel tired. Either way, feeling the euphoria of a runner is cool. 18. Familiar places open up in a new way. Once you switch to a bike, you'll realize that moving along the roadway is not so comfortable. And then you'll discover lots of new details in seemingly familiar places that you hadn't noticed when you rode past them in your car. You'll discover a river you never knew existed and a cafe that makes the best lattes in the Northern Hemisphere. When you see all the things people don't see around their homes, you'll realize what a wonderful place you happen to live. 19. It is possible to lose excess weight. What do people usually do when they decide to lose weight? The first thing they do is buy sneakers and ridiculous sweatpants and go jogging. No doubt, this activity gives good results, and to lose a couple of pounds is quite possible, but with a bicycle progress will be more noticeable, and this is good for your state of mind. Yesterday I biked 8 kilometers sounds much better than yesterday I ran 800 meters. It's up to you. Of course I've already made my choice, but still, think about it, which sounds better? 20. Riding a bicycle is not an excessive exertion. As I said before, jogging is quite a normal way to lose weight, but it is not suitable for everyone. Especially if you have no experience with significant physical activity, and you are overweight heavily. Riding a bicycle in your case is an activity less tiring, with fewer consequences for the joints and the body as a whole. During running, with each step, the entire considerable weight of the body puts a load on the knees and ankles, and the consequences are not long in coming. Not only pain in the muscles, but also damage to ligaments and tendons will appear. When riding a bicycle, the bulk of the weight is on the saddle, and the muscles do the work without overloading the rest of the body. 21. You can use your phone for more than just Facebook and Instagram. Install Strava, Endomondo, or any of the many programs that allow you to record your progress and track your improvements. 22. Riding a bike is healthier than running. There's no arguing with the scientific data. A 2014 study found that cycling is more beneficial than running. For a runner at any level, the risk of injury, pain and inflammation is higher than for a cyclist, given the same exertion. Riding a bike can take longer than running. Not farther, although that's also true, but longer. The authors of that study I mentioned above drew a conclusion from their results. They noted that cycling is less associated with the risk of injury and joint pain because of less rigorous body stress, so a cyclist can spend more time on the road than a runner. 23. Cycling can take longer than running. Not farther, although that's also true, but longer. The authors of that study I mentioned above drew a conclusion from their results. They noted that cycling is less associated with the risk of injury and joint pain because of less rigorous body stress, so a cyclist can spend more time on the road than a runner. 24. The cyclist gets fresher air. Seriously, it does. It may seem absurd at first, but even riding on the same road, a bicyclist and a motorist breathe different air, especially in traffic. The thing is that car air conditioner sucks exhaust gases of the car ahead, that's how it is made. Such system is good on a free road, but not at dense movement. All the polluted air goes into the closed cabin and from there straight to your lungs. It is thought that more air passes through the cyclist's lungs as he exerts more effort, plus he does not have someone's exhaust pipe dangling in front of his face. Either way, it's worth thinking about. 25. You can train without a lot of hassle. If you decide to ride your bike to work, not only does it save you a lot of money on gas or tolls, you don't have to spend that money on the gym. You kill two birds with one stone, you ride and you work out. In addition, the gym is much easier to abandon than traveling to work. 26. Reducing the risk of obesity. Studies have shown that even with regular exercise, people who commute to work are at risk for obesity. Exercising about 60 to 90 minutes a day is recommended to combat obesity. A cyclist doesn't need to put in extra effort to do so. 27. This sport can also be watched on television. Not everyone likes watching the Tour de France, some people just die of boredom. Nevertheless, once you start riding yourself, you may find the spectacle more fascinating. 28. Saving the planet. Not only is a bicycle good for the health of whoever rides it, it's also completely environmentally friendly and safe for nature. So there you have it. You can ride and be proud that with every pedal turn you are protecting your home planet. So go ahead. 70% of car trips can be made on a bike in less than 20 minutes. In the US, 30% of all greenhouse gas emissions come from motorized transportation. This transportation has a huge impact on the environment, even when compared to the production of bicycles. Cars emit carbon pollutants into the air that affect the Earth's climate. If your vehicle is driven by your own efforts, You reduce the world's use of harmful non-renewable energy sources. 29. You can become a parts specialist and be proud of it. Knowing all brands of pedals may not help you on the bike path, but you can be sure that you have chosen the best for yourself. And this is much more useful than understanding smart teapots. 30. Riding in the rain. Rain is not a hindrance until it turns into a flood. Did you ever jump in puddles as a child? Riding in the rain is one of the most enjoyable things to do on a bike. You are unlikely to die from wet feet. If you're on your way to work, you can put your business suit in your bag and change on the spot. Trust me, there's nothing like the feeling you get while flying down a water-filled bike path. 31. You can wear stupid clothes. When you're riding your bike in a creepy, tight-fitting leotard that's shiny as a lollipop, no one says a word. Try to walk in this form, you will become a laughingstock. Here they are, double standards in the worst sense of the word. 32. You can teach children to ride a bike. Do you also remember the moment when you first felt that no one was supporting you from behind, and began to pedal furiously, trying not to fall? You, of course, shouted, "Don't let go! Don't let go!" And to you, "I'm holding. I hold." And then look back, and there is no one there, and you go by yourself, forward, forward. Give the kids this moment, teach them to ride. 33. Enjoy your time with your family. You can ride bicycles with the whole family at the same time, from toddlers to great-grandfathers. For the youngest, there are children's bike trailers, and the rest can pedal together towards adventure. 34. A useful habit from childhood for life. The biggest influence on children is the behavior of their parents. Just as we teach children to read, we can teach them everything else. If you ride your bike regularly, they will imitate you. You can forget something with age, but you won't be able to unlearn how to ride a bike. Children who are taught to ride a children's bike from an early age grow up healthier and more active. 35. Pleasant pastime for two. A bike ride is a great option for a romantic date that can be repeated every week, as long as you fit in with each other, and not arrange races. If she isn't into crazy bike rides, you can just enjoy each other's company. And, of course, the better your physical shape, the better it will be later. In short, look again at points A to 10. 36. Pleasant pastime in solitude. Sometimes a person needs to be alone. You're not glued to each other, after all. Sometimes you just want to ventilate your head. And for this, you can drive along your favorite track or go out onto the road and roll wherever your eyes look. Why not? If you really have a rest from everyone, then for the benefit of yourself. Just let yourself have it. 37. Park like a king. One of the beauties of cycling is that you can park almost anywhere. Office bike racks are usually located close to the entrance, and you don't care about all this hustle and bustle for the best parking spot. It's like a door-to-door delivery, you stop and you're already there. And by the way, you don't have to pay for bike parking. There will always be a railing or a lamppost to leave the bike for a while. 38. If you have already started to ride, then do not stop. The best time to become a cyclist is now. The internet is full of bike shops where you can pick up a bike for every taste. Between 2001 and 2011, the number of cyclists in New York, for example, grew by 289%. More and more bike paths appear, and in general much is done for the convenience of cyclists. And let's face it, oil will eventually run out. 39. Don't be upset if you happen to abandon your bike for a while. There is no need to be tormented by guilt if you abandon it. Sometimes people live by the principle of all or nothing. Like, if you already bought a bike, then you definitely need to ride it every day. Nonsense. Ride when you want. Is it really necessary to trudge somewhere on a bicycle in the middle of winter, in a downpour or on a dark night? And, to tell the truth, sometimes you just don't feel like it. This is fine. Riding should be fun and enjoyable. When it snows where I live, I drive. Of course, there are those who ride a bicycle even in the snow. 40. visible results of efforts. The day will come when you, looking at the hated hill where you knock down all your legs, gather your courage and roll uphill as far as you can. The rest of the way, as usual, on foot, cycling. Only this time before you have time to look back, you are already descending the hill. There is no better feeling than finding out that you have lost weight by stepping on the scale. It is comparable only to the realization that your children are already tired after an hour of playing, but you are not yet. It's an amazing feeling, even better than, well, let's say the euphoria of a runner. As you can see, there are a lot of reasons to buy a bike, and you can find even more if you ride regularly.